back on the record in the Ante matter. Miss Ante, you're still under oath. Thank you. Counsel, you may be seated. Thank you.
So, Lindsay, we've kind of gone through some American Express statements regarding purchases. Bobby had made between November of 2017 through January of 2018. And during this time, did you believe that any purchases he made with his American Express card would be then paid off by funds that you had given him?
Absolutely not.
And the $26,100 in funds you had given, that was prior to marriage, correct?
Yes, it was.
And that was to be held in the Goldman Sachs account for the sole purpose of building interest, is that correct?
That's correct.
And during the times of all these purchases, you thought that Bobby was making these purchases and then he was gonna pay it off with his own money, correct?
He had enough savings, he was working, I had no reason to believe he wasn't using his own money.
Did he ever tell you that his American Express card would then be paid off with any of the funds you had given him to place in the Goldman Sachs account?
No, I never discussed any debts of his that I would pay off besides the car.
And you had indicated that it was during your honeymoon that's when you had confronted him to show him the bank statements to demonstrate where that $26,100 had gone, right?
Right.
Objection, Your Honor, asked and answered.
Sustained.
And at any time after that honeymoon, did you ask him where the funds had gone?
Yes, I again asked him to show me his statements. And he laughed at me and said, why?
I'd like you to turn in the big binder to number PLTF 157 and Exhibit 6.
Did you say 457?
PLTF 0157.
157. Thank you.
And are you on this page, Lindsay?
Yes, I am.
Is this a text message thread between you and the defendant?
Yes, it is.
And on this thread, which text would be sent from you?
The dark one.
And on the second message you had sent, it states, I want your bank and credit card statement since November.
That's correct.
That's the text message you sent, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And his response is, from what cards and why? Only the B of America has been used, and I haven't used my Citibank in years, just paying it down now. The American Express has about $700 on it.
Correct. Never telling me about 20,000.
Was this the most essentially detailed accounting of his bank accounts that you ever received?
Yes.
You never received any type of statement indicating what those amounts were or what charges were on those cards, is that correct?
No, they all went to his mother's house.
And it doesn't look like there's a date on this message. Do you recall the date or the general time frame of when you had sent this?
I believe this was in about May, but I started asking him for statements in January.
And then this continued it until about May when this was sent.
Yeah, once we came back from the honeymoon, every single month was a fight.
And regarding his text, the American Express has about $700 on it. Did you believe that to mean the current balance owed?
Right.
Is it your understanding that Bobby incurred approximately $20,000 on his American Express card and then paid those amounts in full with funds you gave him to be held in savings?
Yes, he did.
Your Honor, I'd like to admit PLTF 157 evidence.
I'm going to object under the best evidence rule, as it doesn't contain a date, doesn't contain phone numbers from which they came from. Just general information that would be used to verify its authenticity.
I think the parties can testify whether or not it's an authentic document, and those are the text said, and then ultimately, what their impression of what the text meant said and their mindset in sending those texts. So if he were to dispute sending it, I guess we could question regarding that.
Just that one page.
Yes, and this is a little unconventional, but we have all the text messages on their phone still. If you want to verify that it was the exact thread, I know it's only regarding documents in the binders, but we do have the actual phone and actual text present.
I would object as it was something that should have been disclosed. If the whole chain was relevant, the whole chain should have been disclosed before November 15th.
This entire Exhibit 6 seems to me like it was attached to something, because there are exhibit numbers and pages in between.
Right.
Was this produced early on in the case, or was it attached to a motion?
So this was actually, because
What was it attached to?
the plaintiff had filed, while there was a pending divorce, a complaint for separate maintenance, and the matters were consolidated. This is before we came on as counsel, but the matters were consolidated, and this was the entire document filed. So all Exhibit 6 is something that was filed as early as December 19, 2018.
To a complaint? This is attached to a complaint?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, so were there ever any, I mean, you Bates numbered them, were they produced through discovery?
Yes,
They were produced, Your Honor.
Were there any objections to authenticity when they were produced through discovery?
We did not make the objection at the time. We planned on saving it for trial.
Okay, well, you can't.
I understand.
and we're trying to keep it as narrow as possible regarding certain Bates numbers, and
Right.
the present one is the single text.
I think your objection goes to the weight, not the admissibility.
Fair enough.
Okay, so it's overruled.
Thank you, Your Honor.
150, Bates number 157 is admitted.
Not 158 that goes with it.
Just that one page, that's all they asked.
And no further questions at this time.
Pass the witness.
Pass the witness.
All right, excuse me. Hopefully I won't lose it entirely. We were gonna go till 12:30. Is that okay with you? Do you wanna go ahead and start?
Sure, I'd be happy to do
Okay, all right, good.
that. Okay. All right, Lindsay, if I could ask a preliminary question, how would you prefer for me to address you, Ms. Licari?
Licari.
Ms. Licari? Okay, perfect. All right, Ms. Licari, if you could turn to Exhibit A, please, in the defendant's binder.
Go ahead.
So this is your financial disclosure form, correct?
One of them, yes.
So what date was this financial disclosure form filed?
It looks like 9/18/18.
Okay. And can you turn to page 2?
Yes.
Or sorry, actually, page 1 real quick. So on page 1, you state that you had not had any employment, or that you were not employed at the time, correct?
That's correct.
And then you had not had any employment since December of 2016, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. We'll go into page 2. You state that your gross income, your year-to-date income was 0, correct?
At that time, yes.
Okay. And that any source of income that existed was a 0 for the year 2018 up until September 18th, 2018.
I think besides Postmates, some small thing I was doing,
So you did earn income, you just didn't report it on here.
it was not substantial. It was like $50.
Okay, but regardless, you didn't put it on here.
No.
Okay. Okay. And isn't it true that in the 2018 tax return for Aiden's Army, You stated that you received $0 for your work as president of the corporation.
At the time I
correct?
filled this out, yes, I received $0.
Okay. No, so here's, I guess, let's open to it. So let's open to Exhibit C. And then we're going to go to the page that's Bates labeled PLTF 0390.
Okay.
So it states on, so this is the Aiden's Army tax record for 2018.
Mhm.
And it states that under, I guess, so this is part 6, but then in section D it says reportable compensation from the organization. And what's the number next to your name?
I don't think we're looking at the same paper.
So Exhibit C,
Mhm.
if you go 390.
I'm on 390, but I don't see any numbers. They're all 0.
Okay, so in section 1, where it says Lindsay Licari president,
Yes.
and if you go over to the right column, it says average hours per week, you list 40.
Mhm.
So you were working, you stated in your tax record that you worked 40 hours a week.
Yeah, and partially volunteer time.
Okay, but it was your testimony just earlier that you in fact were working 12-hour days, 6 days a week.
I was. In some of that time, there was no money in the foundation all the time, so I would work for free.
Okay, but doesn't it state that you were working for free essentially here as well?
Well, I also don't fill out the tax papers. My tax CPA does this, so for me to explain to you paperwork that I pay somebody else to do,
Well, all I'm asking you to do is you were paid $0 for your work as president.
that's
Maybe
not
more.
true. I was paid $21,000.
Okay.
On
Wait.
this document, it says in your capacity as president, you were paid $0.
I did not prepare this document.
But it's
The
your
the
company's
question
tax return,
is-
correct?
Is this accurate? Did
I
you
can't
receive
I
0?
can't. I don't understand it.
It's
So
their
how
own
can I?
produced document, Your
Okay,
Honor.
stop. Okay, I need one person to talk at a time, and
I
the question
apologize.
is very simple.
Mhm.
Were you paid $0 in 2018, as this
No.
document states?
No.
Okay.
So the tax filing for Aiden's Army is incorrect, is what you're stating.
Yeah, and I believe it was amended.
Okay, but you didn't produce the amended return, correct?
I'm not sure I was ever asked for it.
Okay. All right, let's go to Exhibit E. So this is a document that's been admitted. It says miscellaneous income. It's a Form 1099 miscellaneous. And that's your name on it, correct?
That's correct.
And in box 7, it states that non-employee compensation, you earned $21,750, correct?
Yes, when she amended it, that's my payroll for 2018.
So are you saying that this was income? Well, let's go back, because in Exhibit B states that in your role as president,
Mm-hmm.
you were paid $0. This document states that you were paid $21,750 as non-employee compensation. How can you explain that discrepancy, please?
No, because I don't know what you're talking about. I give this information to my tax lady, and she does it. She gives it back to me, and
Okay.
that's how it works. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
So, but this document acknowledges that you made $21,750 through.
Aiden's Army,
Aiden's
as
Army.
well as I'm acknowledging that's how much
Okay.
I made.
Okay, perfect. So let's go back to Exhibit A. Is it your testimony? I guess I'll ask. Was the entire $21,750 received after September of 2018?
A large portion of it was, yes.
Okay, but not all of it.
No, not all of it.
Okay, so you didn't report the income that you'd received prior to September 18th on here that you'd gotten from Aiden's Army, correct?
Prior to, I wasn't receiving very much income.
But you still didn't put it. You were receiving some income, correct?
How this would work is there would be no money to give me payroll. So I would still issue the checks, but there was no way to cash the checks because we could not issue payroll because there was no funding. so I would just hold them. So no,
here's,
I didn't always have the money.
all right. So here's my question. Did you receive any income from Aiden's Army prior to September 18th, 2018?
Objection asked and answered several times.
Overruled.
Does that mean answer it?
Yes.
The checks I wrote were not able to be cleared, so I held them. So I did not
Ms.
cash
Lacari,
them
it's
or
a
receive
simple
any money.
yes or no answer.
You have to let her finish.
But it's a yes or no
Well,
answer.
I think the court needs clarification because you're not directly answering the question, and that's why I overruled their objection.
Well, he's saying
Because you are saying that you received checks, but he's asking you a specific timeline. And the timeline is, did you receive income prior to the filing of your FDF?
no,
That's
because
a yes or a no.
prior to June of 2018, when Bobby left my house, I was not taking any payroll from Aiden's Army of Angels. It started after June only because I was forced to pay things.
So, Ms.
So the
Lacari, the
answer
question isn't were you receiving income before June of 18? It's were you receiving any income?
I did
from
receive
Aiden's-
income, but it was
Stop,
not paid out
stop.
to me.
Do not talk over each other. The question was, did you receive income prior to filing your FDF? Yes or no?
Yes, a small amount I did,
But it's not listed on your FDF, correct?
because I had not cashed those checks.
All right, we'll move on. Have you ever failed to accurately list income on any sworn documents?
No.
All right, let's go to Exhibit B. And if you'll go to the second page, it's going to be Bates labeled PLTF 0372. Now this is your financial disclosure form from 2019, as disclosed by your counsel. And in Section C, it states other sources of income. Down at other, it says contracting for AAOA. I assume that's Aiden's Army of Angels, yes?
Yes.
Okay. And how much does it state that you received monthly?
Varies. It says 15.
Okay, so it was approximately $1,500 a month that you received from Aiden's Army.
No.
So what is this document stating then?
At the time, Aiden's Army had no funding. So all I made that month was $1,500. So that's how this works with the nonprofit. If there's no money, there's no way to pay me.
So your financial disclosure form states that you were getting monthly amounts of about $1,500.
At the time I filled out the disclosure, yes.
Okay, and this is your second disclosure from 2019.
I guess.
Okay. So you were receiving approximately $1,500 a month, or so you represented.
Hmm.
Why did that change from 2018?
Because initially I wasn't taking a payroll at all. But once I talked to my tax CPA and some consulting, they told me somebody needs to be held accountable for the foundation and needs to take a full-time payroll. And that's when I then changed it to a full-time payroll.
And so was your position as, were you being paid for your position as president, or were you being paid as an independent contractor?
I was being paid as an independent contractor. There's nobody paid through the foundation through a W-2. Everybody's contracted.
So in 2017, you stated that you filed taxes jointly with Bobby, yes?
I didn't want to, but he insisted and I did.
It's a simple yes or no question. You filed taxes with Bobby, yes?
Yes, my CPA did it.
Okay. But you never produced your personal tax records for 2017, correct?
I gave them to my CPA, yes.
I mean, in this case,
It wasn't really relevant.
one of the requirements of NRCP 16.1 is that the parties produce tax documents.
Well, we
like
filed
that.
together and I
Objection.
did produce the tax documents.
Okay. In fact, you didn't produce any tax records at all, did you? For personal tax records, I'll say.
No, I did. He had them. We were joint filed. We both had them. He actually didn't produce them to me.
So you claim that in your 2017 tax records that $1,300 was withheld by the IRS for back support child support arrearages that Bobby owed, correct?
That's correct.
You produced any documentation to verify that,
My counsel should have it.
but it hasn't been produced as an exhibit in this trial.
I produced a lot of things, and I'm not sure what was decided to give to you guys and what was decided not to.
Okay. So, I mean, at this point, we only have your testimony to rely on that $1,300 was withheld from for tax reasons from Bobby.
Well, yes, and you could probably look in tax records.
Okay. All right, let's go to Exhibit X. All right, so this is the letter that was sent to you, or I guess to the parties from the IRS. Can you please read the notice date in the top right?
October 15th.
Okay. And this document was produced prior to the November 15th deadline, correct?
I've never received this document at all. I went to Bobby's home.
But it was produced.
No, never to me.
So if it was produced to your counsel, they didn't give it to you.
Objection. I'm going to object to all this as relevance. We attempted to get
Your Honor,
testimony regarding this exhibit, and you objected stating it wasn't relevant. And how is it relevant now?
It was not this exhibit that I objected to as relevant.
Number one, it's in evidence. It was stipulated into evidence. Number two, you asked questions about it. So he could ask questions about it. It's overruled.
Thank you, Your Honor. So the question was that if your counsel received it, they didn't give you a copy, correct?
No, they did not.
Okay. Let's flip over to the second page, or I guess it's the third page. Okay, so at the bottom it talks about explanation of changes to your 2017 form. And it cites a, Kies Record Service LLC. States that the account was related to somebody with the last four digits of 0440. Are the last four digits to your social security account 0440 or 0444?
Yes.
Okay, so there was $12 reported by Keys Record Service that wasn't a part of your tax return, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's flip over to the next page. So there's a deal that states received from PayPal Incorporated, again bearing the social security number 0444, and it states that you reported zero income from PayPal, correct?
Correct. I didn't make any money on PayPal. Those
Okay,
were donations.
But it's reported from others that you received $21,349, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and you didn't report this income to the IRS.
I gave it to my CPA, and she said it was donations, so she didn't add it, and I asked her about this.
And then again, going down under employment compensation, from Employment Development Department bearing Social Security 0444, you reported $0 in income, correct?
Objection. You're misrepresenting it. It doesn't say employment compensation. It states unemployment compensation.
I agree. I was reading Employment Development Department.
You misidentified the section.
I apologize that I misstated, Your Honor. Unemployment compensation. And it bears Social Security number 0444, shows that $0 was reported, correct?
That's correct.
But in fact, you received $2,887, yes?
I'm not sure.
So is the IRS incorrect in what they sent you?
I'm not saying that it's incorrect. I did get unemployment after I stopped working and I was caring for my son. I did get a small portion of unemployment.
Okay. Flipping back to the first page, isn't it true that as a result of the underreporting on your part, that the parties are owed, or that the parties owe an additional $7,808 to the IRS?
This is completely incorrect because once it's amended we wouldn't know anything. So had he not withheld this paper for all these months, this would already been corrected.
So your testimony is that, again, you never saw this document before last week,
No.
despite the fact that it was produced by the defendant prior to the close of discovery in November of 2019, correct?
I've never seen it.
All right. All right, you stated in your testimony you moved to Las Vegas early on in 2017, correct?
That's correct.
And is it true that during that summer you were engaged to be married to another person besides Bobby Ante?
Yes, I was.
But you called it off, yes?
Yes, I did.
Okay. You married Bobby on November 25th, 2017, yes?
That's correct.
But Bobby had moved in during the first week of November 2017.
November 4th.
Okay. So it's your, I guess it was your testimony during, I guess, when your counsel was talking to you, that during the month of November, you paid for all expenses related to both you and Bobby.
Absolutely
Objection to
not.
prior testimony.
Okay, if there's an objection, please wait, okay? I didn't hear your objection because she was talking at the same time, so please.
The objection was misstating prior testimony.
My recollection, Your Honor, is that she has testified that between the months of November through February and on, or I guess November, specifically November through February, that she was responsible for all household expenses.
And that wasn't your question. You had said that she had paid for everything. And we discussed bank statements
Okay.
where clearly charges were made to.
All right,
So I'm happy to restate that.
thank you, counsel.
So during the month of November, who covered all household expenses?
He was living in my house. I covered all the household expenses in the apartment.
You paid for all groceries.
I wasn't really eating. My son just passed away. So there was not much groceries.
Any other household? So okay, you've covered, you paid for all household expenses. Okay, so you were married on November 25th. Isn't it true that on or around November 26, 2017, you made Bobby a joint holder of your Chase account?
At the instruction of Linda, yes, I did.
Objection, Your Honor, it's hearsay.
Sustained.
So, I'll restate since the answer was objected to. Yes or no, on or around November 26, 2017, you made Bobby a joint holder on your Chase checking account bearing the last four digits 6263.
Yes.
Isn't it true that also around that time you made Bobby a joint holder on your Chase savings account bearing the last four digits 6778?
Yes.
You claimed that sometime after, or I guess as part of your testimony, you claimed that you removed Bobby from the joint account, correct?
Yes, I did.
Have you produced any bank statements showing when he was removed from the account?
Yes, I did.
Are they part of the record?
I don't know what my counsel turned in and what they didn't.
Okay. But if there is no documentation showing when you took him off, we're forced to rely on just your testimony, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Oh. All right, let's go to Exhibit L. I want to flip over to page 46. So it'll be ANT 000046.
Okay.
So you claimed that you weren't a part of this Buffalo Wild Wings dinner.
No.
How often would you say that you went out to eat with the defendant during the month of December?
Objection, Your Honor. We attempted to question points regarding similar transactions that you had said.
It's not relevant.
Not relevant.
Okay. Happy to move on.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Concerning the Chase account, isn't it true that all payments that went towards the house or paying off any debt came from either the Chase checking or Chase savings account?
Yes, it came from me.
But it came from the joint account, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And Bobby had been made a joint holder on these accounts before payments were made towards the house, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go to, what is that? Exhibit N, the gift letters. So you testified that you willingly signed 3 separate gift letters, correct?
Yes, I did.
And it was also your testimony that you signed several other gift letters, yes?
Objection, Ms. State's prior testimony. She testified that she had signed 3 gift letters.
Your Honor, she also represented in her testimony that she signed several letters that were ejected from the lender because of variations in her signature.
I do recall that testimony. Overruled.
So there were other gift letters besides these 3 that are in evidence that you signed.
They had me duplicate the $3,000 gift letter multiple times.
And you stated that was because of variations in your signature.
Because the angrier I got in the process, the worse my signature became.
Okay, which created variations in your signature.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, you signed the first gift letter December 20th, 2017, yes?
That's correct.
And the amount of this gift is for $65,000, yes?
A down payment for $65,000.
Can you please read the letter beginning at I, we, and continue until the word recipient?
I, we, Lindsay Licari, has given a gift of $65,000 below borrow. No repayment of this gift is expected or implied from either cash, future services, or the recipient.
You signed this letter, correct?
I did.
And you signed it as Lindsay Licari, yes?
I did.
And you understood that this letter was a necessary part of the mortgage process, yes?
Yes, I did.
When you signed this document, was it false?
With the intent that we would both be on title.
So, yes or no question, was the document false when you signed it?
Objection,
I
I don't understand the question. The document being false.
Your Honor, it states that she is given a gift and no repayment of this is accepted. She's claiming now that that was never her intent, but she signed a document stating the same.
Perhaps you should rephrase the question.
Okay. Okay, I will do that. So, this letter states that no repayment of the gifts is expected or implied in the form of cash or future services of the recipient, yes?
On December 20th, yes.
Okay. But you're stating now that it was your intent when you signed this letter that you were expecting a repayment.
No, my intent was when I signed the third gift letter that I was expecting the repayment of $75,000, so all of them, on the third letter.
So the third letter that was signed January 17th,
Mm-hmm.
when you signed it, and it bears substantially the same language, correct?
Yes, it does.
Objection. We're not on the document, so
If they can identify any difference in the document and the language,
I'm objecting to your questioning referencing a document that we haven't looked at.
it's a document in evidence, Your Honor.
And the
And
plaintiff
it
is
was
expected
referenced
to
by
know every
the plaintiff.
If you'll permit me, I need some clarification
Sure.
to your question. This document, the very first gift letter, he asked you at $65,000. And it states that you're making a gift to him. And you said, as of this date, 12/20/17, that was your intent.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
But I
No,
guess
I'm
let.
sorry, your question.
Oh, certainly. I mean, so let's flip over to so 2 pages to page bearing 305, dated January 17th. So was it on January 17th when you signed this letter, was it your intent that these funds were to be a gift and that no repayment was expected?
No, that's why I sent the letter agreement prior to signing this document, telling him that none of these were gifts.
Okay, but you still signed this document bearing this language.
Only because he signed my document.
It's yes or no?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
That's the $4,060 that, you're on that document, right?
Yes, Your Honor. And then you also signed another gift letter, flipping back a page, for $3,000, and that was dated January 1st, 2018, yes?
That's correct.
And it states that the funds came out of the Chase checking account,
Yes, it does.
and it bears the name Lindsay Licari as your signature, yes?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Was it your intent when you signed that to make it a gift?
Yes, ma'am.
304. So your intent changed between January 1st and January 17th,
Yes,
the
ma'am.
date of the last gift letter?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So, was Valley West Mortgage aware of the letter of agreement?
I've never talked to Valley West Mortgage, so I can't tell you anything about them.
Had you ever sent this letter of agreement to Valley West Mortgage?
Why would I do that? I was sending it to Bobby.
It's a simple yes or no question.
No, I sent it to Bobby.
Okay. So, when you signed, you stated when you signed this third gift letter from January 17th, 2018, that despite the language, you still expected some form of repayment in the future.
I thought I took every step to protect myself, yes.
Okay. Was it your intent to mislead Valley West Mortgage Company with any of these gift letters?
Objection, Your Honor. It's her intent to mislead Valley West Mortgage. I think it's an
Overruled.
improper question.
So I'll restate. Did you intend to mislead Valley West Mortgage Company with any of these gift letters?
I never had any interactions with Valley West Mortgage Company. I only dealt with Linda.
But you were aware that these gift letters were necessary for obtaining the mortgage.
Right, but it was also necessary that he signed the letter of agreement before I would sign the last gift letter.
Was it necessary that Bobby signed the letter of agreement in order to get a mortgage from Valley West Mortgage?
Yes, because it was my money.
Isn't it true that you did not apply for the mortgage?
No,
And that you never in fact signed any kind of loan application?
never at all.
Okay. Why didn't you fill out a loan application?
Because me and Bobby previously made an agreement that I would not go on the loan, we would both go on title.
What was your credit in November of 2017?
Bad credit.
Would you have been able to qualify for this house to purchase it on your own?
No, which is why-
Speculation.
He's asking her to speculate whether she could qualify, and you wouldn't know if you qualify unless you submitted a loan application.
It goes directly to their knowledge at the time. There's a reason that the loan was put into Bobby's name and not Lindsay, and it's knowledge that they possessed at the time.
But her knowledge to speculate whether she would have been approved if she said she never submitted the applications, you're asking her to, whether or not she would have been granted, but she never did it.
Your Honor.
Overruled.
Would you have qualified for a mortgage to purchase this house on your own?
No.
So Bobby was the only one in your marriage who could qualify for a mortgage, correct?
He actually didn't qualify either.
So it's your testimony that Bobby was not approved for a mortgage.
It is my testimony that Bobby told me the only thing that needed to be paid off to qualify him for a mortgage was the car that I paid off. That was it.
Did you ever meet with the lender?
No.
So, just kind of moving on. You claimed that you wrote 2 checks. Part of your testimony was that you wrote 2 checks, one on December 14th and one on December 15th of 2017, each for $3,000, yes?
That's correct.
And it was your testimony that one of these checks went to Bobby and the other went to Linda non-ERA, correct?
That's correct.
Have you produced any copies of these checks?
Yes, I have produced the copies of the check to the earnest deposit.
Are they on the record?
I gave them to my counsel. I don't know what's been put on the record.
Okay. So if these checks are not on the record, then the only evidence that we have of their existence is your word.
And also text messages from Linda saying that I wrote those checks.
I objection, hearsay, Your Honor. Okay, so it's your claim that you told Linda Nah and Bobby Ante on January 15th that you wish to cancel the purchase of the house.
Yes.
But isn't it true that after that time you took actions which contradicted that sentiment?
Objection.
No.
I don't understand what actions means. It's an overbroad question.
Overruled.
You took no actions after that time that enabled the house to be purchased.
I sent a letter of agreement to protect my interest. I then told him I would go review the documents, and again, we would both be on title, and I would review the documents and then make a decision.
Okay, so after you claimed that you wanted to cancel the sale, and that was January 15th of 2018, yes?
Yes.
All right, but you signed a gift letter on January 17th, correct?
After he signed the letter of agreement.
It's a simple yes or no question, Mr.
Yes.
Carter. And the gift letter was specifically related to money that went to the balance on Bobby's car loan, yes?
I believe it was a duplicate of the earnest deposit.
If we want to look at Exhibit L, or I guess it's Exhibit N, we can look at the gift letter that was executed on January 17th. If you want to read under the
Yes, you're right. It says for the car that I paid off in December.
Okay. So even though this payment had occurred back in November of 2017, you knew that in order to finalize and purchase this house, you would have to sign and execute this gift letter and send it to Ms. Knopf.
That was part of the process.
Okay. And you did sign and send that letter to Linda, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, let's talk about the letter of agreement. So after, the proposed cancellation of the purchase, you drafted the letter of agreement, which specifically contemplates the purchase of the house, correct?
I don't understand your question.
All right. Well,
Contemplates the
let's-
house? I'm confused.
Is your letter of agreement the document which operates under the understanding that the house is going to be purchased?
The house would only be purchased if the letter agreement was signed.
Okay. Let's go. I think mine's 8. And yours. Okay. So let's, if you'll open to your binder, the big binder. We're going to go to Exhibit 6 in the section labeled PLTF 0108. All right. So I want to keep both of these open because it's the two letters. I'd like to be able to
I'm not sure where it is in your book.
So my book is Exhibit H.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So, you drafted the letter that's contained in Exhibit H, this letter of agreement. You drafted this on January 17th, correct?
I drafted PLTFO 108 on January 17th.
So it's your claim that you drafted this letter bearing the date and this additional writing, which we discussed at length on Friday, It's your testimony that you drafted that first,
Yes.
and that's the one that you sent to Bobby first.
Yes.
And you signed it when you sent it to Bobby.
No.
Okay. Who altered this document to create the second version?
If I answered, that would be speculating.
Okay, so it's your claim that you or actually, I'll see if I can remember your testimony exactly. Is it your testimony that this letter of agreement from Exhibit H, that you never had seen that document?
No, I did not see that document until my counsel showed it to me.
And so you never sent a text message to Bobby asking him whether or not, or asking him why he didn't sign the one that was updated?
No. I sent him the letter of agreement. There was one.
Your Honor, if I could.
Your Honor, I'm going to object that this hasn't been produced in the case.
Your Honor, it's being used solely for impeachment purposes. At the time of I guess January 17th, 2018, was your phone number 702-577-6657?
Yes, it was.
And if you go down to the second line, does it say, coming from that phone number, you didn't sign the one that was updated?
Can you repeat the question?
So that second bullet that was sent to Bobby's phone, which states you didn't sign the one that was updated, did that come from your phone?
No. I do not remember any of this conversation. So I'm sorry, I can't give you any testimony on this.
But that number at the top is your phone number from the time.
This is a screenshot that could have been made. That was my phone number, but
It's a
I
simple
have
yes
all the
or no question,
conversations.
Mr.
No,
Carter.
I did not send these messages.
Okay.
No.
So it's your claim that you never saw an amended document, and in fact this one labeled PLTF 0108 is in fact the only document that ever existed that you knew of.
Objection. As she testified that she did receive it, but it was until counsel presented it to her.
Would you like me to repeat the question, Mr. Carney?
Yes, please.
So it's your testimony that you never received, or that you never even knew of, any other version of this letter of agreement other than the one that's labeled PLTF 0108.
Yes, that's absolutely my testimony.
And it's your testimony that this text message did not come from you, did not come from your phone.
I did not write that.
Okay. Is there any version of these documents that bears the signature of both yourself and Mr. Anson?
Yes, when he sent it back to me, it said signed and agreed. He then texted me that he got it and that he signed it. And then I printed it, I signed it, and I filed it away in my files.
All right, let's flip over a couple pages to PLTF 0110. Now you signed this document, correct?
Yes, I did.
And what name did you use when you signed it?
Lakari.
So on January 17th, you were in the habit of signing documents with the name Lindsay Lakari.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any signature over Bobby's name and info?
No, when it sent it back to me, it said,
It's a simple yes or no question, Mr.
No.
Carr. Thank you. All right. Where was Bobby when you sent him the letter of agreement?
I'm not sure.
Isn't it true that you informed Bobby that you would not wire the funds for escrow until he signed this agreement, unless he signed this agreement?
Absolutely.
Did you give him a chance to have the document reviewed by an attorney?
He had the option to do that.
Based on your knowledge, was Mr. Ante at the title office at the time?
I'm not sure where he was.
Okay. How much time did you give? Were you aware that funds needed to be transferred to the title company that day for the purchase to go through?
Yes.
Okay. And so you sent this document, which you say you drafted the 17th, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And you sent it to Mr. Ante for the first time on the 17th.
I downloaded the program just to send him this document.
Okay. And you also knew that escrow funds had to be sent on the 17th.
Yes.
Okay. So he didn't have multiple days to consider the ramifications of this document, did he?
I'm not sure.
Well, if you sent it to him on the 17th,
He had every right not to sign anything.
if you sent it to him on the 17th, and escrow was due the 17th, otherwise the purchase would fall through, did he have anything, or I guess, did he have a day or two in which he could review this document with an attorney?
I guess no.
Okay. Okay. Isn't it true that after you claimed to cancel the sale, you went to the bank and sent a wire transfer to the title company?
No, I did not know I was sending a wire transfer to the title company.
Okay. Will you please open to Exhibit 6? Bearing the numbers. Actually, we're just going to flip a page or two, because it's PLTF 0112. Alright, do you recognize this document?
Yes, I do.
How do you recognize it?
Bobby brought it to my office.
Is it substantially the same as when you submitted as an exhibit with your complaint for separate maintenance?
I'm sorry?
Is this document, is it in substantially the same form as when you submitted it as an exhibit with your complaint for separate maintenance in December of 2018?
Yes.
Okay.
Could I have the Bates number again, please?
Yes, Your Honor. It's Bates number PLTF 0112.
Thank you.
All right. I would move to admit this exhibit as exhibit. I guess this would be. Is this double I for me?
Clerk would have to answer that.
Double H.
Double H. All right. Let's admit it. I would move for admission as exhibit double H.
Objection.
No.
Admitted by stipulation.
All right. So this document was the document that you had on the day of January 17th, 2018. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Can you read out the name of the company at the top?
National Title Company.
All right, and in the middle of the page, there's a sentence starting with please and ending with transfer. Can you please read that sentence?
Where?
It's in the middle of the page. It's a sentence that begins with please reference.
Please
and,
reference the escrow number and reference segment with your wire transfer.
And below that, does it list what the escrow number is?
It does.
Does it state that there's an escrow officer's name?
It does.
And so it's your testimony that you had this document on January 17th, yes?
Yes.
But it's also your testimony that you had no idea that transferring these funds to this number would be utilized for escrow.
I also didn't know I wasn't on the title.
It's a simple yes or no question, Ms. Lakari.
No, I didn't know.
Okay. All right, it's your testimony. Let's go to Exhibit Q. All right. So let's flip over to the page that bears number 878. On here it states, or I guess, you claim that you never signed this document, yes?
I never did.
You claim that I guess, When did you first receive this document? When did you become
When I
aware
filed
of
the
it?
complaint at Galvar, it was then first produced to me.
Okay. What's the date it says that that was signed?
On the 17th.
And you just stated in your testimony that you were in the habit of signing documents with the name of Lindsay Licari on January 17th, 2018, correct?
That's correct.
But you claim that this isn't your signature.
Absolutely not.
And it was your testimony earlier that you had been known to have a great deal of variation
No,
in your
just with
signature.
that gift letter. That gift letter. That's it.
So, on documents in which you were required to sign your name, there was a pattern of variation.
I wouldn't call one document a pattern.
But didn't you testify that they had to give you multiple gift letters to sign?
They had me re-sign the same gift letter over and over
So it was multiple signatures
on the same
on multiple
paper.
pages.
Yeah.
Okay. And you stated that there was variation.
Yeah,
on
the
signature
angrier I
dates.
got with the process, the worse my signature became.
Okay. Have you produced any kind of handwriting expert or analysis showing that this is not your signature?
No, but I did offer to.
When was that offer made?
I let my counsel know that I was willing to take a lie detector test and get a handwriting expert that I would pay for myself to prove exactly what happened.
But no expert was produced, was there?
I'm not sure.
And no handwriting analysis was done, correct?
I don't believe my counsel had the opportunity to do so.
Isn't it true that you filed a police report on January 7th of 2020 claiming that your signature was forged?
Yes, because there was a crime committed, my signature is
It's a
forged.
simple yes or no question, Mr.
Yes.
Kari. Thank you. And in that police report, you claimed, well, isn't it true that in that police report, you claimed that Nikki Bott had forged your signature, and that she had conspired with Bobby to steal money from you?
No, in January, I thought it was Linda and Bobby who forged my signature. And when I went to the police station, they told me this is a marital dispute and they didn't file anything. It wasn't until just about a month ago when I found out it was Nikki Bott who forged my signature and she notarized her own document, and I filed a police report to then report the crime.
But you filed multiple police reports concerning this, yes?
Yes, at first,
Okay.
2.
Okay, so then this first report was filed, I guess let's open up to Exhibit 6 in your book, and it's going to bear the number 322.
Okay, go ahead.
Alright, was this the police report that you filed?
Yes.
Does it look substantially the same as at the time when you filed it?
Yes.
Your Honor, I move to admit as exhibit. Now we're at double I, yes?
I do not have a 322 in plaintiff's binder.
Exhibit 6. I do have it.
Has a page in front of it saying exhibit 62, if that helps.
Do you have one?
I do. You want it?
In yours?
Yeah.
I saw the 314.
It's 2 pages, counsel. It says 1 of 2 and 2 of 2.
Correct, so it would be 322 and 323.